This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everyone and welcome to show 162 of Aussie Mac Zone, presented by ATH Web Hosting. Don't forget, we've got Australian servers, affordable competitive plans, domain registration available, 24/7 setup, instant activation, and the list goes on and on. And get into it. That's what I say. Host your wedding site, host your family sites. Get ones with your kids' names now so that they've got one for eternity. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's not too dear these days, is it?
No, it's surprisingly cheap these days. And I'm lucky enough to have my friend Garth with me again this week. It's awesome.
How you going, Michael? It's been a while since I've spoken to you.
Yeah, have you had a good time?
Yeah, fantastic. Out in the Wild West.
You must be very relaxed now.
Oh, you're kidding me? I've been back at work a week now.
It's all gone. What holiday, he says.
Exactly. Back to work.
Yes.
I don't know, though, all that time in the car with the kids, I think work might be a bit more relaxing, actually, maybe.
Now, I ended the show last week with just, you idiot, and that was talking to myself, just so people know, where I realised, just as I was finishing up, I realised I hadn't hit the record button on my Boink system, which does the show recording. So I had to use the Facebook Live, which I could get to work last week, but I haven't. It's crashed a couple of times this week, so I've just unfortunately given it the boot right this second.
So we can either one or the other, it seems, doesn't it?
So anyway, here we go with our Aussie Apple Ramblings. So my first one is Wall Street analysis think Apple's next big opportunity is something called the ambient paradigm. So investors don't have to have much faith in Apple's future. UBS analysis Stephen Milanovic and Benjamin Wilson wrote in a note distributed to clients last Wednesday. Simply put, only 11% of Apple's market cap can be attributed to profits projected more than 3 years out, so according to their calculations. However, the UBS analysis think this means there's a lot of upside to Apple's stock that investors aren't focusing on. Sure, the iPhone is a huge hit and a commercial success, but they see Apple laying the groundwork for the next era of personal technology, the ambient paradigm. We consider the Apple Watch and AirPods similar transition products today on the way to an integrated user experience based on multiple products seamlessly connected. We call it the ambient, present on all sides paradigm. It is Tim Cook's iOS everywhere, Milanovic writes. He sees Apple's other products like the Watch and AirPods evolving in coming years, with Siri acting as the glue and potentially affecting industries like healthcare and education. It is if you're consistently surrounded by Apple products and services, that presents a huge revenue opportunity for the computer maker and also increase the possibility that users will feel locked into Apple's ecosystem. And the analysis warned that forecasting Apple's long-term future is difficult. After all, Mac sales in 2001 or iPod units in 2007 didn't have much to say about where the puck was going, which is to do with that famous quote. But anyway, so what do you think about that, my friend? I know that's a bit long-winded, but it is interesting.
Yeah, so the ambient future. So we're talking, and I think they're looking at the W1 chip specifically, aren't they?
Yeah, really, yeah.
And that at the moment, AirPods and a couple of Beats products is all we're seeing that in. But it is an interesting idea. So in the same way that the iPod was a sort of transition product from the Mac through to the iPhone. We're saying that the watch and the AirPods. Sorry,
Yeah.
names wrong, aren't we? The AirPod is a transition product to this new ambient future. And I guess, in terms of home kit as well,
Yeah. And
health kit, all the kits we've seen lately.
yeah, car kit.
Reset kit, car kit, all the kits. It's all about the kits.
All about the kit. Yep.
So there's sort of one of the great features I can't wait to try out some AirPods is just this automatic pairing everywhere. So in a future where all of your devices are talking to each other constantly, you don't really have to worry where Siri is, who Siri is, what Siri's doing. You don't have to, worry about interacting with a particular device to get a piece of information. You just sort out what you want to sort out, and the products around you will sort it out for you, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that how you see it? How do you see it? What are they really saying there, do you reckon?
I think that's right. I think we just get everything together, and it is getting closer to working together, isn't it? Where you you're in your car talking to Siri, hey Siri, take me home or whatever, and it'll take you the best route home, whether there's an accident or something else involved. When you get close to the shops, it'll remind you to just call in at the shops and get the milk on the way home because it's on your list. And then you get home and you say, once you're at home and you can say, Siri, open the garage door, or it knows how close you are, so it'll actually open the garage door. You go in, lock the garage, walk around, you walk in the front door because everything knows where you are. It's all integrated, and like they say, it's ambient. It's just around you. Wherever I am, it just knows where I am and what to do when I'm there.
Yeah, and I think even with the Google Assistant stuff we saw,
Yep.
Google Land recently, it's a similar sort of thing, I guess. But probably the way Apple's doing it is a little bit more cautious, a little bit more stealth, maybe even you could say. Not as in your face, I guess, but just, and not, you don't see Apple, other than to address particular concerns in the marketplace, you don't see Apple touting artificial intelligence, things like that.
No.
I think they're a little bit more shy of touching that creepy zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they keep buying the companies, don't they?
Yeah. So they're doing it all, and they'll certainly talk about it when people are, you're not doing anything in this space. But I think there's a lot more artificial intelligence going on in the background and underlying a lot of what we're currently using and will be into the future.
Yeah, and it's just built on, you go back to when it was such a big thing for your phone to automatically talk to your car. Every time you got in, it just paired up on its own. Yeah. That's the ambient paradigm, isn't it? And that was that was a few years ago, and it was a really big thing.
I guess it was, yeah. So AirPods, you just, what is it? It's a double tap on your
double tap and Siri do such and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see? I don't think you have to say the hey. Sorry, everybody. Email Garth $100. So we've got... sorry, I cut you off there.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Go for it. Yeah, so another good thing, Apple's new Orchard program, I wonder how they got that name, aims to discover the next best marketing talent. So Apple has quietly created a new program called Orchard with the goal of seeking out the next best marketing talent. Job listings have been appearing gradually over the past few weeks for the program, but Apple is this evening, which was a couple of days ago, has launched the new Orchard page on its website that talks about the program. Apple explains on the jobs webpage the goal of Orchard is to bring together talented and diverse group of up-and-coming creatives to learn the growth with professionals at Apple. The program will consist of 10 participants, 4 art directors, 4 copywriters, and 2 strategic partners. Apple writes that in most cases, Orchard applications will have a degree in creative communications or have around 3 years of experience. Once accepted, members of Orchard will be put through a set of curriculum, receiving mentoring from Apple employees, and work closely with colleagues on Apple projects. On the new Orchard webpage, Apple touts the challenge of the program and the strenuous process members will go through. The moment is now. Throw everything you know out the window. All in. If you're lucky enough to make the cut, expect to surround yourself with like-minded souls who are terrified and excited as you are. Be part of the hand-picked team with a plethora of talent. Kick ass together, panic together, grow together. Work alongside the brains behind all the iconic work you love from Apple. Watch and learn. Trust your gut, challenge our ways, have an impact on everything you touch. Be prepared to stumble and fumble and embarrass yourself. It will be messy and it won't be pretty at times. But if you stick together as a team, you'll build a special bond and something truly great will come out of it all. Take it from us, it is the only way. And does this proposal sound crazy to you? Good, we like crazy. And just to end it, interested parties can apply via the link. Applications will be taken until November 4th, after which a selection committee will screen applicants in December. One-on-one interviews will be held in Cupertino, and it will go from January 2017 to August 2017. So I know we've got plenty of Australians that are good enough to be in that group, so I think as many of you should apply as possible.
Crikey, talk about some marketing speak.
Yes,
goodness.
but it's 2 marketers, but isn't it?
Yes, well, yeah, I guess so. So it's about 10 people, I guess, by the sounds of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get applying if you're someone in that marketing field with a degree and a few years experience already. So, that sounds like what they are looking for as a basic.
Yes.
And I think it would be an amazing experience.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I had the background because I'd be applying for it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to be. Even places out here, I think even in your employer would probably give you a 9-month time off if that's where you were going.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think you can arrange that pretty easily. Yeah, I'm just going to go and spend a year or so with Apple marketing.
Yeah.
All right. You coming back? Okay, cool. Off you go.
So,
well, the chances of you coming back would be pretty limited, though, I imagine, too, depending on where you were to start with.
Well, if you're only the 7th best out of them, maybe you know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, imagine the opportunities afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. Living at the top. Apple officially launches new spoken editions section in iTunes and podcast app. Now, I haven't tried whether this is available in Australia yet. I just haven't had the time to get in it. But after a premature appearance last month, Apple's new Spoken Editions section in iTunes is now live. Spoken Editions, for those unfamiliar, are narrated pieces of content from a variety of online publishers. Spoken Editions are available in iTunes on the Mac and PC, as well as first-party podcasting app on iOS. As noted by TechCrunch, Apple is launching Spoken Edition in partnership with a variety of publications, including Huffington Post, Reuters, Slate, Slate.Mike, Wired, IGN, Bustle, Fusion, Gizmodo, Lifehacker, Time, Skift, Playboy, Jezebel, and there are currently over 40 editions available. Apple touts that Spoken Editions are useful in situations where where you're too occupied to read content, but could be multitasking and listening, just like you are now. Too busy to
Exactly. It's hard to
read. That's right.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Too busy to read your favourite website? Just listen. These audio versions give you tons of great narrated stories. They're perfect for getting the latest scoop when you're driving, working out, or just like kicking back. Spoken editions are divided into a handful of categories in iTunes, and Apple's Spoken editions are powered by a technology from Spoken Layer, a company that takes a publisher's RSS feed and quickly turns its content into audio. Spoken Layer says that as part of the partnership with Apple, it will produce hundreds of episodes per week of Spoken editions. There we go. That's what we're doing now.
It is what we're doing now. So it's an interesting.
I think it's like an AI feed, but isn't it? Where it just reads the page and computer voices it. Yeah. But
then makes it available as a downloadable, like podcasts.
Yeah.
The results by the sounds of it, basically.
Yes.
So, there's a number of apps there's an app I used to use. I can't think of it now that would do that automatically for you as well. And I think, what was it I used to use? There's a couple I used to use.
Yeah.
Even VoiceStream, I think, was one.
Uh-huh.
It would automatically sync up with your Read It Later account or Pocket or whatever one of those ones you like to use.
Yeah.
In your Twitter account, there's a story you want to read later, add it to Pocket, and VoiceStream will grab any of the stuff that you've added to Pocket, and you can choose a whole heap of different voices to read all these stories out and just set it going when you're going for a drive or whatever you're doing. And it'll read out all the stories that you'd saved. You go and pick what particular story.
And how good was the voice? Basically, that's what it's
good.
all about, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a whole heap of different voices that were available, that are available. There's a number of, all the nuanced voices that you'd be used to that are available on your Mac and not Eloquence, a number of different ones. But yeah, so I'll be interested to see this, the spoken editions, just to see what they're like. Yeah.
So that'll be good. I'm looking forward to trying it. Just making the time to do it's the challenge, isn't it? Actually, I might try some on Sunday while I'm at the car show where it gets a bit quiet sometimes. I can.
I just had a quick search on iTunes now and I haven't found it yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll chase it up and tell everyone next week.
Yeah, I'll see what we can find out for next week. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Samsung suspends production of Galaxy Note 7. AT&T and T-Mobile and now Verizon have stopped offering replacements. And so following a recall and efforts to fix dangerous flaws with its flagship phablet, the Galaxy Note 7, Samsung is now said to have temporarily suspended production of the jumbo-sized handset entirely, while US carriers AT&T, T-Mobile and Verizon have announced that they will no longer offer replacement units. So, there was the comment last week, which I don't know whether I put in the show, that China was upset because they weren't doing a recall in China. But the thing is, it had the Chinese batteries, which were supposedly not catching fire. But
exactly.
Maybe there's some more to it than that.
Well, I heard another story today where one of the supposed new phones, a similar sort of thing has happened.
Uh-huh.
But whether that's any truth in that, I'm not sure yet. Haven't heard any.
I haven't heard of any more at the moment.
Yeah, there's another plane that was stopped and people had to get off.
Yeah.
When one caught, heated up or did whatever it did.
Well, you can imagine if you go to the airport and you go, like now we've got to pay for someone to look at everybody's phone to see whether it's a Galaxy or not.
I know.
You're not allowed to put it in your baggage, so it's got to go through there, and you can't take it on a plane. So what are people going to do? There'll be just a heap handed in at the airport and go.
Yeah, you got to switch it off. That's what.
But even then, you're not allowed to take it on. They just won't let you take it on the plane, apparently. Are you still there? I can see
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yep, you're back. Yep.
Well, it's okay. Cool. Yeah, good old internet. Yeah, no, well, it's just an ongoing world of hurt for Samsung, isn't it?
It is at the moment, yeah. Yeah, it was going to be just a quick blowover thing that, yeah, we got this problem, we fixed it, see you later, and yeah.
Yeah, things just keep coming up though, so
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it will blow over because it does. Yeah, it's not good
Yes.
for the whole industry.
And we don't want anything to happen. That's the main thing.
No,
We don't want
exactly.
anything to happen.
Right, anything else to happen?
Yeah, nothing to nobody. Right. So, yeah. In more good news for Apple, so in hospitals, Apple's top platform becoming a force. Apple's app platform has been quietly growing in popularity in US hospitals. Now the public is getting to look at one of the first apps to be used in a major hospital. Home Hero, a company that provides non-medical home care, is now using a new app created through Apple's CareKit platform in partnership with Los Angeles Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The app will be used to help patients at one of the country's largest non-profit academic medical centers readjust to life at home after a hospital stay. The app was developed through CareKit, Apple's open source platform that allows researchers and care practitioners in the medical field to develop apps tailored to their needs without any coding knowledge. Track their work and communicate with the company like the app Uber uses to communicate with its drivers. It's publicly available but hidden from the App Store. CareKit is early in its use, and it's much to Home Hero's credit that they're the first of our partners to be leveraging it, Cedars-Sinai Chief Information Officer Darren Dworkin told Mashable. It's the right thing to do as a health system to enable patients to get information through commonly available platforms, as well as an area for growth. There will be other partners that seek out CareKit. So I think that's great.
It is. It's a shame, actually. Really, no. Take that out of context. No, it's a shame that they're the first. It's been a very low in uptake for CareKit by the sounds of it.
Yeah, well, but there's some. There are others, but that they're just not getting into it, or they're not advertising it, or it's, maybe it's like Salesforce or something where people are using it, but you never know what they're using. There's so many different back-end type things floating around that we're not aware of yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
because it's definitely an area for growth. Because I've had friends recently left hospital for various things. They get exactly the same bit of paper, whether they had a heart attack or whether they had an ingrown toenail. It's just
yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly the same piece of
an
paper.
Area of need, let's put it that way. It's an area of need.
Yeah.
And which platform, how it's going to be, where you're going to see uptake. The thing with having Apple as the base is it's not everyone can afford it.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's definitely going to be, and I think it's fantastic. I'm not trying to
But like as I said, that is an open source one, but isn't it? So maybe it's on both platforms.
It's open source for people to use it, but do you need? I don't know. Can you use it on other platforms? As the user, you need to have an iPhone or an iPad or something like that, I believe.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll see. Let's hope it does take off, because the more options in that field, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Another one here we got is how Tim Cook is remembering Steve Jobs 5 years later. It's been 5 years since Apple's co-founder Steve Jobs died, but his legacy is still a huge part of the Apple we see today. Apple CEO Tim Cook, who has led the tech giant the past 5 years, paid tribute to his friend last week on Twitter. Most important, Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition, he wrote, a famous Jobs quote, remembering Steve and the many ways he changed our world, which is what he posted on Twitter. Apple set up a dedicated page after Jobs' death where everyone who knew or admired him could share their remembrances. Since then, Apple has had more than 1 million people share their memories. So that's pretty cool. People.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is. Yeah. Not sure what else to say on that one.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. So, French company sues Apple for the good of the internet. How's that? For the good of the internet. So, Apple is facing a new lawsuit, which was filed this Friday by a French open source software maker that says it's launching the lawsuit to get developers better HTML5 support on iOS. Nexedi, I think it's Nexedi, filed its lawsuit against Apple in French courts, claiming the current iOS support of HTML5 web technologies lags behind other platforms because Apple refuses to allow third-party browsers to use anything other than its own WebKit. In a blog post detailing its reasons for suing Apple, the French company says it considered recommending clients stop using iPhone and iOS altogether if they want better HTML5 support. Apple has made improvements to browser support in recent years. Third-party apps weren't even allowed to use Apple's WebKit until the introduction of iOS 8. Nexedi says WebKit's library is lagging so far behind the competition, though, so Apple should allow browsers powered by modern Blink library into the App Store. We would be delighted at Nextd to create a web browser for iOS with better HTML5 support based on a recent version of Blink library. But as soon as we would publish it, it would be banned from Apple's App Store, the company writes on its blog. Many companies are being hurt by this situation. Some companies have already begged Apple to improve HTML5 support in iOS with little significant results. Next, he says it's suing Apple in French courts because it's easier in France to get a ruling in favour of small businesses that are being imposed upon by large companies trying to create unbalanced contracts. So,
I need to know more about that one before I can comment on that one. What's your take on it, Michael? Tell me.
Well, I think, they're doing it in France because it's easier. And I don't know what part of HTML5 is not working, so I can't, everything I need in Safari appears to work.
Some of the newer, more experimental stuff is not in Safari yet, and
Yeah.
I know, for example, there's a couple of apps, web services like Zencaster, which is a podcast recording service.
Yeah.
So you open it up, I send you a link, it records locally your end, it records locally my end, and in the meantime, it's uploading a full recording your end,
Yeah.
what's gone over the VoIP. So it does the VoIP in real time, the voice over the internet part in real time, and leaks up a good quality recording, a good quality local recording. So it's a pretty cool little system.
Mm-hmm.
Can't work in Safari because there's no support for that, for the frameworks that it uses yet. You use it in Chrome and in other browsers, but
In iOS?
it's part of the spec. Nope, can't use it on iOS at all. It needs to be done on a desktop. Yeah. So this is iOS only. Yeah. I guess with iOS, there's no. Well, on iOS, there's no really use any other third-party rendering engines, is there?
No. Well, that's what he's saying, I suppose. So.
Yeah, all of the Chrome, all of them have to use iOS's rendering engine, and presumably for security reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
To start rendering, that's. So I don't think any change is going to come to that in any time soon.
All right. So what about Aussie Tech Radio at www.aussietechradio.com, or you got the Aussie Tech Security Podcast, or Aussie Tech Heads Podcast. Some very nice shows on Aussie Tech Radio, and it's a good way to fill in time in between or while we're waiting for the what was the name? I forgot the name of it.
Spoken edition.
Spoken editions. Yes, thank you.
Or when you just want to hear something random, just pop on.
Yes. Yeah. Some very interesting stuff happens there in other fields or other countries.
Exactly. Very, very strange.
So,
And fun.
Friend of show Glenn had some battery issues. So Glenn had an iPhone 6S, and that was using a battery like I've never seen a battery get sucked down. He'd lose 30% just over breakfast. Not watching news videos or Facebooking or whatever while he was eating, and basically it'd be all gone by lunchtime. He'd have to carry a little one of those USB battery packs with him. I ran Apple's official test on the 6S, but it would never finish and would give an error, just to say that it didn't complete the test. That was the only error. When he got back from visiting and recovered from his beloved Sharks winning the NRL Grand Final, he's watched it about 400 times already, I think.
I reckon he probably.
He made an Apple Store appointment, and they changed it for him. And yes, we checked things like what's using my battery, the information on the phone, but nothing was dramatically wrong. It was saying, Facebook 34%, mail 22%, and that sort of thing, just like everyone else's phone. But you could almost watch it go down. It was that much. And I think I really think it was like an aerial problem, not a battery problem. When it's got to use more power because it thinks the signal strength's not there, so it's trying to use more power. Yeah. That's what I believe the problem was, but I didn't have anything else to do after I did the tests and kicked him out.
Go away, mate. You're in luck. You're getting a newbie, pretty much. Eh? So that's good. So if you are having any battery issues, maybe check all the normal stuff first. And look, to be honest, actually, Michael, my battery seems pretty bad lately too.
Yeah.
I've been blaming iOS 10 for it. I don't know. How have you noticed any major differences in battery usage from 9 to 10?
I'm still getting a day, so I don't really, and I've got one phone that I listen to podcasts to and from work, so that's 4 hours non-stop audio, and I take a couple of calls during the day, and I think when I take long calls when I'm at some of my sites where I know the signal's really crap, then it definitely uses more battery when your signal's only got 1 bar.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And if I have, some of my phone calls are half hour, 3/4 of an hour long. So yeah, you can definitely notice it then. But I still, I get more than 6 or 7 hours out of it without any problem whatsoever, without even thinking about charging it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I'm charging at work most days to make sure that I've got enough, or I wouldn't make it through the day. Yeah.
So you'll have to ring me too, and ring me with a serial number, and we'll go through a test together. I can do that.
Oh, can you do that? You do that over the phone, can you?
It's a remote test, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
all right.
So,
well, we'll do that then. Yeah, there you go. It'll be an interesting experience to see how that works.
So yeah, but just we need the serial number so I can enter that in, and then I request it. Basically, I enter the serial number. I request a diagnostics. You press a thing saying Michael's allowed to request the diagnostics, and away we go.
Away you go.
And it just goes. It's not something that I go on and look at your screen or anything. It just goes and runs some tests on the phone, and then tells me that this end, yes, the screen's got an issue, or there's a sound problem, or there's an aerial problem, or a radio problem, or
something comes up if there is something there.
Yeah. Yep.
So, very cool.
So, have you got anything for us, superstar?
Well, we're going to go into tips.
Yep, please.
Okay, so first one, I thought we better do an OS 10. Well, Sierra
Yep.
tip or two. Most obvious one, Siri on the Mac now. We've all probably seen it there. But jump into your system preferences if you haven't done this, and customize, if you wish, the keyboard shortcut you use to bring up Siri. So obviously you can click up in the menu extras. But if you go into system preferences, Siri, there's a pop-up button there that has a number of different pre-configured options. So whether it's press and hold your command and space bar, or press and hold option space bar.
Yeah.
Or not press and hold, just click FN spacebar. Or you can create your own custom keyboard things there as well. As anyone who's listened to the show for a while knows, I love keyboard shortcuts. Never want to have to get your hands off the keyboard if you can help it,
That's right.
Yeah. So,
and you've only got to use it a couple of times before your brain remembers it. It's not something
yes, the muscle memory kicks in. Yeah. So get used to using, rather than jumping your hand down and scrolling up and clicking the little button.
Yeah.
So much quicker to just click, you're done. Your keyboard shortcuts. So that's number one.
That's excellent.
Have you got any?
No, I haven't got any this week. I'd totally run out. That's why.
So I'll go on to another one, which is an obvious one that's been around for a while now, but it's the obvious ones that people forget about, I think.
Absolutely.
And that's just for on your iPhone. Well, this is a 6S only. I was going to have more, but we found out it doesn't work. On your iPhone, if you've got a 6S or 7, which obviously more and more of us do now.
Yes.
Force press 3D touch on the left-hand edge of your screen, and you're in your app switcher. So another way of not, another way they're deprecating the use of that home button a little bit. Just your force touch on the left-hand edge of your screen to bring up your app switcher, which I find sort of more convenient once again than your double press of the home button.
Yeah. Yeah, so force touch the left-hand corner, and away you go.
The left-hand edge, anywhere along the left-hand edge.
The whole edge, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Is that working for you?
Is
that how you do it?
I'm not that far up the list, mate. I've still got an
Oh,
iPhone 6 or a
7.
Yeah, I haven't got it yet. Haven't got it yet.
Oh, it's on its way. Okay. So there you go, left-hand edge.
Yeah.
I get a bit cautious now of recommending these shortcuts because I've discovered one or two of them are specific to when I'm using VoiceOver. So
Well, we just have to be very specific about what we what phone we tell them they're for. That's all.
Yeah.
Or what we hope they're for. Anything else, my friend? Anything that I've missed? There was another one on the on there, but I can't find it in my notes. But I'm sure I typed it in there. It's about Apple and Samsung going back to court because Apple got their money awarded or re-awarded. And I think the Supreme Court was 8 votes to 3 about the old swipe to unlock and back in those days. Remember that?
Yeah, now we don't even do swipe to unlock under iOS 10.
No. But that was one of that group of sort of copycat things that they went to court for years and years and years, and they went to the Supreme Court. I don't think it can go any further than that now that Apple have won.
Yeah,
So.
thank goodness. Well, thank goodness it's finally over.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of controversy recently, or the internet going a bit crazy about that video of the guy saying that they're not properly, not really using Sapphire.
Oh yeah, they were
Did
using
you see that?
Sapphire 6 instead of Sapphire 8 on the camera glass. So
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a storm in a teacup. It seems like.
And there's some talk about Apple and the home button issue for iPhone 6s still in America. More lawyers getting on the bandwagon for suing Apple anyway. Not necessarily more people.
For what particular reason? It's just great. It's all, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they changed the design of the home button.
So,
I don't think there's a lot there.
that's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we'll
Thanks for listening, guys. And
yeah.
yeah.
see you next week. We hope.
Good night.
Good night.